Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago, coming to you from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave. This is the TCSF Podcast with your host, E-Roc and Big Z. We're brought to you in part by Anchor, Noir, Caesar, and Villain Radio Studios. All right, Z, week one of the Bears season is in the books. Is it already time to take a look at Foles?
I don't know, man, but I think it might be time for putting some Foles in this house.
There's some Foles in this house. There's some
Foles
in this house. There's some Foles in this house. There's some Foles in this house.
There's some Foles in this house. I don't know, man. Trubisky pulled it off in the end, you know?
He did. He came up big in the fourth quarter. I think the first two quarters he had some jitters, and I think the offense and defense, had to get their groove going on, but he came in through in the end with some good plays and good targets. Yeah, he figured it out.
He definitely figured it out. Okay, coming up later, we're going to be joined by Il Brown to recap Bears and Lions, and we're going to take a quick look at this week's game against the New York Giants. But first, it's time for baseball. This is 3 up and 3 down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
We give you 3 good things and 3 bad things about our favorite baseball teams. Z, give me some good White Sox news. Tell me something good about the boys in black.
Oh, boy, we have a lot of good news. I really don't even want to look at the bad stuff because there's not much out there for us. But let's stick to the good stuff. All right, number 1, we got an MVP on our team. We actually can talk about maybe 2 or even 3 MVPs on our team. But let's start out with the most important one.
Your team.
Yeah, my team. Yeah, my team, not your team. Jose MVP Pito Abreu. He's batting .319, top 10 in MLB, 15 homers. I think he's second in the league.
Okay.
47 ribbies, leads the league. I mean, the guy's destroying the league.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically it might as well be a beach ball right now because he's hitting everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's sad that he had his hitting streak broken the other day.
Yeah. But
guess what? He got back on the horse and he hit a home run.
That's what Pitos do.
That's right. Pito power. All right, number two. Tim Anderson. This boy is going for his second batting title. He's hitting everything in sight. So you got Jose MVP hitting everything, and then you got Tim Anderson leading the charge. He's the leadoff man, and he's hitting .362.
Damn.
That's as of before the game of today's game on Sunday. So this guy's destroying everything. He's going for his second batting title. The last person to do that was Miguel Cabrera.
He's trying to do it again and again.
He's trying to go back to back.
Going back to back.
There you go.
All right, number three. Mr. Lopez.
Yep.
Mr. Lopez came in and pitched a pretty good game after coming back from Schaumburg.
Didn't we just want to get rid of him last show?
We did. And I said, I don't know, he had to go back to Schaumburg and start from scratch and fix his mechanics or fix his head. Whatever they did, it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 5 innings pitched, 0 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He usually has more strikeouts than that.
Yeah, you want to see those numbers higher.
Right, and he was missing a lot of spots. I rewatched the game this morning. He was missing a lot of spots. His fastball, his high fastball was supposed to be like on the corners. It was over the middle, and they were hitting it, but there was no damage done, no foul, no harm.
Even so, he only got 1 walk.
Right.
So that makes a big difference. If you miss your spots during the at-bat, it's a lot different than missing your spots to end the at-bat and then giving up walks.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just they were eager to hit on him because they said, well, he has no control. Right. He's going to put it up there, so they were trying to swing at him. Let's move over to the bat. Let's get this bad stuff out of the way real quick. All right, little boy Madrigal, little junior over here, playing second base. He gets on first, gets on second, he hits. I'm okay with that. Now the bad stuff, you cannot, and you cannot run a stop sign on the way home.
Oh no!
Yeah, you can't. All right, that is Little League Baseball 101.
You would have figured. I mean, he's a little dude. Like, well, let's be honest. But I mean, you figure at some point he played red light, green light. You know what I mean? Like, you should know how this works already, man.
Yeah, he ran a stop sign, and then later on in that same game, he was on second base. The ball was hit to the shortstop. you're supposed to look at where the shortstop is positioned before you leave second base.
Right.
So if he does field it, you know to stop. If he doesn't, you go to third. And literally, the shortstop fielded it, and he went straight to third without even looking. So he made 2 errors like that, and that cost us about at least 1 run.
It's a bad feeling because I was coaching softball last year, and I basically told the girl to come from second to third before I realized that the ball was coming between short and third, and she got tagged out so quick, and I felt so bad because she got out because of me. So I get it, but I mean,
Yeah, but you just got to relay, you know what, this is my mistake, not your mistake.
well, it's
as
not
a
just
coach.
that, but you're also talking about a guy who's been playing baseball probably since he was like 5 years old. You
Right.
know? So that's the problem.
Yeah, it is the
You're
problem.
in the big leagues.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that.
Right.
Yeah, you can't blame that anybody but him. All right, moving on. Number 2, Keiko with his back issues. Is this something that's going to be lingering, or is this something like a one-off?
Maybe his beard is too heavy.
What about your guy with the arm that shaved his beard?
Oh well, hey, he's on the comeback trail, man. Don't give my boy a hard time. He's on his comeback trail, man.
I might have to put their barber, and Keiko in touch.
But that's the guy. You got to remember, this is supposed to be the Sox version of John Lester. So if you're not up to task and you can't pitch, I mean, the guys that are on the field are only going to listen to an injured guy for so long.
Right, and they put him on the IL for 10 days. So pretty much he was going to skip a start anyways because of the stiffness in his back, and they just put him on there so they can have an extra roster spot.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming back for, I think, Game 3 with Minnesota, and pretty much coming into the back end of that series so they can nail it down. I don't think it should be an issue, but we've got about 15 games as of today left.
Right.
So that's about 2 weeks left of regular baseball. You don't want your workhorse, one of your aces,
Right.
getting hurt and messing up your playoff chances.
So what's your third point?
Third point? I typed on Nomad Marza. I know his name is different, but you know what? This guy's a nomad because he's all by himself in right field. He's not hustling to the baseball to get to it. He's not hitting. He's hitting .240 with no home runs. None.
Wow.
When we traded for him, they were showing all these clips, and guess what? The clips of this home run power was against Lopez.
You guys are on the same team now, huh?
Yeah. So he can't hit against Lopez anymore. So we traded for this big stick, this young guy, and he's not producing. So, if he's not going to produce, you know who I want in there?
Who?
Engel.
Why?
Defensive.
Okay.
His bat's a lot better. He's healthier.
So your boy Nomad Marza.
Yeah.
What is his nickname?
His nickname is the Big Chill.
Maybe you should put his ass on ice.
Yeah, put Engel in there. He's better defensively. Engel can also play small ball. He runs a lot better. And at the same time, he's hitting a lot better. So you know what? You've got to put out the best players out there. He's had his chance. That's it. Let's move on.
The games are too valuable to have guys out there that are not doing their job.
Yeah, if you're not producing, I need you to get out. We're in a pennant race.
Yeah.
All right. What is happening on the north side, E?
Yo, my boys got jealous, man.
we,
My boys got jealous.
what they get jealous about?
Your boy Giolito going out there and throwing that no-hitter. So guess what?
What happened today?
So the dude that was not even going to be in the starting rotation, Alec Mills, he went out and threw a no-hitter.
Did you say Foreman Mills?
No, I did not.
Oh.
No cheap Korean clothing here, sir. Thank you very much. Alec Mills threw the 16th no-hitter in Cubs history. So we're doing our weekly shows now, so we're recording on Sundays, and we literally just now finished witnessing a great Bears comeback in the fourth quarter with Mitch throwing 3 tutties in the fourth, only to turn around and see Alec Mills finish off the no-hitter. I mean,
that's a great sports day
come
today.
on, man.
All
and,
right.
hey, and Sunday today,
Yeah.
the Sox won too.
Yeah.
That's a 3 in a row.
That's a trifecta.
That's a trifecta.
Yeah, yes.
So Mills threw 5 strikeouts, 3 walks in only 114 pitches.
That's not bad at all.
No, and he was his first career no-hitter. You know, I had to bump my next point down to make sure that he was the first thing that I talked about.
Oh, he's well deserved for it.
Absolutely. So my second point was last night's game, which was the great comeback win against the Brewers. That's two in a row, very significant games against the Brew Crew. Until Saturday night's game, Josh Hader had never allowed 2 two-strike home runs in any appearance of his career. Jason Hayward hit the game-winning home run. And, hey, Hayward is this dude. He's getting it done. And going into the ninth, the Brewers had a 96.3 win expectancy for that game.
Yeah, they had their best closer out there, and guess what? You guys actually beat the best closer out there.
Finally.
Yeah, well,
Finally.
I mean, let's be honest. Jason Hayward, we talked about this last week. Jason Hayward has been one of those spotlights, those actually unspoken about spotlights. The guy's a solid defensive player, but his bat has been a lot better since then.
And that takes me to point number 2. Hayward and Happ leading the charge. You know, Jay Hay right now has a 292 average and 5 home runs. And Happy is an MVP candidate right now with a 284 average, 12 home runs, 26 ribs, and his OPS is 969. I mean, these are 2 guys who have had their struggles at the plate, and they're getting it done right now for the Cubs.
He's got 26 ribs?
Yep. Like all the way. 12, he got 13 on each side, bro.
No wonder he's hitting well.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your third one?
And so my third one, because I had to bump stuff around, was Kimbrel.
Yeah.
Kimbrel actually looking like he can pitch again. He just broke a 37-year-old Cubs record with his 10th straight relief appearance with 2 or more strikeouts. He still has the stuff, and right now I still trust Jeffress more, but any improvement at all to the Cubs pen is a plus.
So what inning is he pitching now? Like the 5th, 6th, 7th though?
I've seen him pitch in the 7th. I've seen him pitch in the 8th, but I think it depends on what the score is right now. But you're trying to get confidence in your guy.
I think it behooves the Cubs to move him into a less pressure situation. Maybe put him in the 6th or 7th or the 8th. I don't think he's going to be thriving into being a closer yet.
No, but because you still have Jeffress, which they didn't pitch in this last game because he already had back-to-back games, and the same thing with Wick. But there's a reason why they have Kimbrel on the staff, and it was supposed to be the closer. So, here's the thing: no matter what order they go in, I do not care as long as they don't blow the game. That's all I care about.
Well, I mean, they weren't going to blow today's game. Tell you that much.
No, absolutely not.
All right, what you got for the bad?
So now that we lifted up our spirits, I found some finally really good things to talk about the Cubs. I still got to talk about the bad. That's what it is. Javi, I love him, and I've talked about him every week, but he's still struggling. You know, he's batting 196, but what he did say, he said a part of it has to do with no longer being able to use the technology because of the Astros cheating scandal. He said that he uses videos to watch his at-bats so that he can adjust. And this is a common practice around the league, and it could explain the struggles from.
So this is like in-game adjustments.
Yes.
From batting
from at-bat to at-bat.
Correct. At-bat to at-bat. Okay.
And it could explain some of the struggles of some of the biggest stars in the game.
Well, yeah, we're looking at a different era. I mean, when we grew up, there was none of this stuff.
No.
So when a guy was hitting 280, 290, 300, you're like, wow, they're doing great. And they didn't have this technology, so.
No, but at the same time, when you start to rely on it.
Yes, that's where I was going with that. That's what's going with that. They need that constant feedback to see, I dropped my elbow here, or my shoulders were out of place, or I opened myself up. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of issues like that, but at the same time, everybody's on the same playing field right now. No one's using it.
Well, and that's the thing, is that actually brings me to my second point. I mean, you look at guys around the league that are having struggles. Is it due to the fact that they can't use the tech that they might have been relying on this whole time? You know, Rizzo is sitting at 210, and you look around the league, and you have Christian Yelich hitting 203, Nick Castellanos 230, J.D. Martinez is hitting 208. And your boy from the Dodgers, Max Muncy, is 194.
Yeah, that dude crawled under the carpet and someone stomped him out.
I mean, and these are big everyday names that everyone knows. You know what I mean? These aren't just the guys. So, I mean, that's a problem. And so I'll talk about my third thing here is the Cubs' struggles across the board. You look at, you got Happy and you got Hayward doing well, but, I mean, that's about it. I mean, Contreras is starting to pull himself up a little bit, but you know, the Cubs post a team batting average of 229, which is the 24th in the Major League Baseball.
That's not going to cut it, man.
No.
Especially in the playoffs. You've got to play the rest.
And I will tell you this. I honestly think that the only reason they've held on to first is because the Cardinals have not played games.
Yeah, right. So they haven't played the rest of the games. It looks like the Cubs and Cardinals are going to play some doubleheaders coming up.
Well, I think the Cubs did, but I want to say the Brewers have their doubleheaders. That's what it is.
Okay.
So, the Cubs already played a couple doubleheaders with the Cards, but the Brewers have to play theirs.
But the Cardinals are still playing these doubleheaders, which means they can catch up quickly.
But it also means that they get tired quicker.
Oh, most definitely. I mean,
you know, because we had our struggles against some of these doubleheaders because, you know, you got the back-to-back games. They stayed in first last show, right, because the night before they played the Cardinals and won, and because they won, even if they lost the both games of the doubleheader the following day, they still stayed in first place because they had kind of made up a game ahead of time.
Right, because right now it's on percentage. So, I mean, the Cardinals, that issue, it'll get resolved at the end of the season. You got, 2 more weeks, so we'll see what happens.
But, and that's the thing is that, the Cubs are with runners in scoring position. They're 235. And we already talked about Javi and Riz, but look, Schwarber isn't much better. He has a 208 average, and he's living by the long ball with 10 home runs. And, I mean, we know that that's what he's there to do. But,
that's his bread and butter.
Here's the thing. You got to keep the wheels going. You got to get guys on pace. You also have on base and keep pace with the rest of the league. You also have KB, who I've been on for a while. He's super frustrating. And, yeah, he's only played 24 games. But a 206 average, that's not going to cut it, man. That's not.
I don't know what they're going to do, what he's going to do next year, especially with a 206 average. I mean, he's not going to get paid like that.
He's going to get paid for past performance and what they think he's going to be able to do in the future. And that's kind of what happens in sports, more specifically in
baseball.
The NFL.
Yeah, NFL does that too, yeah.
They basically pay for past performance. But, I mean, it's getting out of hand.
It sure is. All right, that closes the 3 up and 3 down segment.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a pause for the cause. You'll listen to some ads from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Welcome back, everyone, to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big Z. We're here with our boy Il Brown to talk about that awesome last-minute Chicago Bears victory.
Victory.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster ride, man.
Yeah,
definitely a roller coaster ride of a game.
I don't know if you want to call that a for sure victory. I mean, it's a win in the win column, but there's a lot to fix.
That's a lot to fix, but you came back and won that game. Trubisky won the game.
Yeah, he won, but
that was the first time, one of the few times I've seen Mitch go out there and win the game for us. So
the last time was that playoff game where he brought it down, but they didn't actually score.
We could have used Cairo Santos that day. I'll tell you that.
So what's your major impression that's going on with the Bears in the first quarter rather than in the fourth quarter? Like what?
Halftime adjustments. Okay. Mitch went back to his off-season coaching with Coach Christensen, who's a friend of mine, actually, quarterback guru. Footwork night and day from first half to second half. All about the footwork. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. He had the happy feet again.
If he could correct that, he had the happy feet in the first half. I'm not going to blame it on the lack of preseason, none of that. That's just something that he has to be conscious of as far as his mechanics go. If that dude goes out there in the second half, probably look at the Microsoft Surface, and he's looking at his feet like, holy crap, I forgot everything I learned all summer. Let me be conscious of my footwork. And you could just see the difference in the accuracy and the velocity.
So really what you're saying is that you think it was just jitters.
No preseason, no reps, and you go right into live bullets.
So,
that matters. You know what I'm saying?
So something that me and Eddie noticed during the first half, he had happy feet. He was jumping up and down, anxious, moving back.
Yes,
right, and he
absolutely.
never plants his feet when he throws. And now you look at the fourth quarter, and he's a little bit more composed and moving around. And when he's throwing, he's actually planning those feet to get that power to go through that throw.
Yeah.
And they're no longer short. They're right on the money.
Right, absolutely. There was a couple of things that we saw. It seemed like they only wanted to go to Robinson in the beginning of the game in the first quarter. And, the big difference is what I was saying when I was watching the game is that, you could see every throw that he was throwing, you had to make this crazy acrobatic move to be able to catch the ball. Jimmy Graham had a very catchable ball that he mistimed that jump horribly. But even when you had Robinson coming down the field right down the middle, I mean, you saw him spread all the way out, and he was not going to be able to make that catch.
Right. It's all about mechanics, man. I can't stress enough, being around some exceptional quarterbacks, and even at the high school level, man, the way we drill home footwork, those mechanics, man. Like, if you got happy feet, you're going to throw a lot of interceptions. You're going to have a lot of overthrows. It's just not possible to play quarterback at the highest level with happy feet, man. And they probably at halftime got on his heels about that.
Yeah.
And you just could see the difference the whole second half. What I did see, I didn't see stare down receiver Mitch.
Right.
At all the whole game.
Oh, he did it a couple times.
I definitely saw it a couple times, but it was a big difference as it went along because you couldn't actually see him going through his progressions and picking a different receiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's like night and day. You know, I mean, every quarterback stares down the receiver from time to time.
Right.
There's no such thing as perfect quarterback play. But, he definitely showed me something as far as going through his progressions. Like, I could literally see him processing, which Matt Nagy likes to throw that word out a lot. Like, okay, he's literally on his third read right there. Oh, that's his second read right there. You know what I mean? So he corrects his footwork, man. He'll be a top 15 quarterback.
What kind of grade would you give him today?
I will give Mitch a B- for today.
B-. I was going with a C+.
I like the B-, and that, to me, that three touchdown fourth quarter, that boosts him up because, I mean, he was probably looking at like maybe a D+ until he got into the fourth quarter, because he was overthrowing receivers. He was throwing it behind the fourth and 7 throw in the first quarter to Ted Ginn. It was way behind him. They were 3 and 7 when they were deep in Lions territory, and or it was the 3rd and 7 play, and we couldn't tell if it was a good toss that he threw the ball away or if he just overthrew his receiver.
Yeah, the one into the corner of the end zone.
In the corner of the end zone on the left side, because the receiver was covered. So it was definitely night and day to see what happened as the game progressed, especially in that fourth.
I feel like the offense has a lot of upside because we are able to utilize the middle of the field now with the tight end play. It's just, I think more reps, man, they'll be fine. Mitch is definitely just got to just work on, keep his footwork consistent throughout the year, and they'll be fine. What I really want to talk about is the lack of the pass rush, man. I mean, there's an upgraded offensive line there in Detroit, but, it's like I always say this, man, it's such a difference from practicing against your teammates, and, you guys are kind of conscious of not, trying to get injured, things like that.
Well, you also get used to their tendencies when you see them so much.
Yeah, it's practice, man. You know what the guy's going to throw at you, and, you know it's counters, all of that, and then literally have no preseason. You go out there with live bullets.
Right, but you have, just like, they made halftime adjustments, these coaches are going to make game-to-game adjustments, saying, okay,
game to game.
Right, we looked at the film, and you know what, we didn't rush the quarterback as much as we should have. And you know what, this next quarterback, with New York, he's somebody we can put a lot of pressure on.
Absolutely.
And he's going to make mistakes, and the secondary is going to take care of the rest.
Well, and hopefully they're going to have Quinn back too, because Quinn wasn't able to go, so we didn't even get to see the new toy.
I was really impressed, not with his tackling, but with his coverage, considering how much they tested him today. Jalen Johnson looked really good. He's going to get better and better.
Jalen Johnson, they definitely picked on him because there was he the one guy trucked.
Yeah, he got trucked.
But now again,
welcome to that field, bro.
Right, but again, it is the you have someone running at full speed and just basically ran him down, and they definitely picked on him a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I think it was Hawkinson. They got him the ball and he had to push him out of bounds. So when there was a couple of times where Detroit took advantage of his inexperience and took it right down the field and used their bigger players to kind of push him around a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to happen in the NFL, though.
Yeah, and then, we coming into a game where you literally have had no game reps at all. Like I said, you're going from 0 to 100, literally. Like, you talking about COVID practice, man. Like, it ain't the same offseason, man. Like,
not at all.
COVID offseason, man. So, them guys ain't out there banging and going crazy in practice, even the way they was, training camp. You used to get hit harder in training camp you would ever see on a Sunday.
Right.
Training camp was where you get punished.
Right.
And
well, it's kind of like batting practice where you use the donut on the bat, so when you actually swing it, it feels a lot lighter. So when you actually get those hits in the game, they feel different.
Right.
Exactly.
There was a couple of things that we did see that was a big improvement. One of which was the way that they utilized the running game, and that included Patterson. Way that they brought him into the game, and
even the scheme they used for Cohen was a lot different than before.
Right.
So they actually made him run up the middle, which is something different and something nice.
And all the runarounds that they kept doing last
year.
Right.
Instead of losing yards.
Yeah, Coach Castillo, man. Like we go over our pre-show notes and stuff. Coach Castillo, man, like I was saying, night and day. He's going to demand that the offensive line be physical in the run game. He's going to demand that they know their assignments. We run a zone scheme, so it's literally one cut, The offensive line blocks in one direction. back reads it, cuts back, is going to be there a lot this year. I thought Montgomery looked very good, especially coming off a groin, man. He's only going to be better. So.
Yes.
All right. So what grade do we give the running backs?
Gets a B+ for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
I like that.
I give him a B+ for this.
So now here's a couple things that were really frustrating. Now, again, we did not have a preseason, so we're just kind of basing it off of what we saw today. But, Detroit had a lot of time at the end of the first half, or at the very end of the first half, to go right down there and get a touchdown, and then they come back, get the ball right to start the second half of the game, and to get another touchdown right away. So by the time we get to the third quarter, they're dominating the game, and it's 23-6, and they're up by the end of the third quarter. Now, what's frustrating to me is that I feel like when Mitch has to think about it too much, that's when he gets into trouble, because when you saw him use his actual instincts and go out there and just play ball, that's when he balled out. But when he actually has to think about it, he says, okay, how can I keep from getting behind? That's when he gets in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just want to say that's part of game planning. Everything's scripted for Mitch coming out, first quarter, second quarter. I feel like Nagy just needs to throw the playbook at this kid and let him just ball out on instinct.
Yeah.
When you script out something, you're literally hoping that it goes according to the script.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, you can see him get frustrated. But in the fourth quarter, when it's go time, hey, man, I got to throw these plays at you that I know is going to work. It's just read and react.
But isn't that some of that on Mitch, where you have to just sit there and, you still have to let instinct take over? Because I feel like sometimes Mitch is just so scared to disappoint people, and he's had a lot of pressure on him. But I feel like he's so scared to disappoint people that it's kind of like, well, I hope I make my dad proud. I swept the floors today.
No, he needs to go out there. He needs to go out there and just move his feet and use his feet to as an asset. I'm not gonna. He doesn't have to stay in the pocket
because he panics if the play breaks down. Like you see him and he.
Throw some names out there at you guys, man. Peter Tom Willis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. PT.
Henry Burris.
Yep.
Rick Meyer.
Oh boy.
We've seen a lot worse than Mitch.
Most definitely.
Like you said, he needs to get out of his own head. And it's not like we haven't seen him do it when it counts most, like ball out. You know what I mean? So it's there. Right. It's just a matter of I feel like it's so much pressure on him that, man, if I don't ball out, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm disappointed.
Well, he's going to lose his job. He's going to lose his job.
But, and that's the thing, is that it's that I don't want to disappoint anyone. And it's the whole, and he has a lot of pressure. And that's in your own head. And, sometimes you got to just say, screw it. Let's see what happens. Let's ball out. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. But I would love to see that out of him. I would love to see fourth quarter Mitch, just start out from the game like that. That's,
as your quarterback, you should be the alpha male. You should be
the leader.
Right, you're the leader. You're saying, okay, this is the play we're running and so forth. If, the first two quarters are scripted, he's really not the leader. He's like, oh,
well, I mean, that's standard NFL practice to script the game in the beginning.
No, I know that.
He needs to be able to speak back and talk back and be like, hey,
this is what I see. That play. This is what I'm seeing on the field, and we need to change this. Right. So he needs to make those adjustments, in-game adjustments, without his coach telling him. He should make those on his own at this point.
Yeah.
That would get that dude benched so fast. he's not there yet with Nagy's system in the playbook yet. But that takes time, man.
Isn't that a problem 2 years in?
Not really, man, because I've seen some generational quarterbacks it not click for them till year 3, year 4, but there wasn't the same pressure back then. You had time to develop a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Steve Young, those guys got to sit and learn, man. Like even Aaron Rodgers got to sit and learn. You know what I mean? Like it's everything is so accelerated. Like, hey man, we take this dude in the first round. He's got to ball out day one, and then add the pressure of a Mahomes and a Watson actually balling out day one. It's all goes back to experience. Like Mahomes and Watson, even in college, had way more reps than Mitch. So it's like Mitch is literally learning the process, the speed of the game on the fly at the highest possible level, and that's bad scouting.
But right, and that's the what you just said right now leads me to the point where it just sounds like they picked the wrong quarterback to begin with.
Well, we all know that
without a doubt.
We all know that.
That's just what it is. You know what I mean? And that's just a bad organizational move. But here's what I'll say. I says you got 2 minutes and 35 seconds left of the game, and Kyle Fuller comes up with that ball that was aided by Eddie Jackson, and you could see when that ball.
If you bet that in Vegas, that was a nice payout too.
And that's the thing is that
it was like
1,000
to 1 for Kyle Fuller pick.
Right, but you
should have sent that in, man. I could have bet it.
Who's been the guys that are picking off the ball for the last couple of years is Eddie Jackson and it's Fuller. And
right.
once Fuller came in like wildfire, then he kind of slowed down, and then like when it was pressure on him, he started making them plays again, and now he's got his money, and now he feels like the player that we always knew he could be. You know.
Indeed, Kyle Fuller, man, is a dog, man. Like physical, he's fast, he's instinctive. You know, I'm just glad it clicked for him because he was almost going to be a casualty of bad coaching regimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's in a scheme where he can show off his talent, man. Like even at Virginia Tech, I mean, dude could cover man, he could cover zone. You just you know, he kind of had a little injury bug to start his career in Chicago, but you see what that dude, him and Eddie Jackson, are just lethal. To Sean Gibson, he'll get in the speed. He'll get up to speed as well. He's very physical. He came down and put a pop on Kerryon Johnson, and I was like, that's he's the box guy for sure. But Khalil ate double teams all day.
Yeah, you
really saw that Barkevious Mingo is a special teams guy.
Yeah,
for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
like,
that
for real.
I forgot. I saw his name. And it reminded me of what's that guy from back in the day? He's in the summertime. You know that song I'm talking about. That's what it reminded me of. Like, you know what I mean? That Paz did that used the beat from. You know what I mean? That's how I'm like. Hey, otherwise, I'm never gonna remember this guy. So here we go. We got in the fourth quarter, 8 for 10, 89 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's Mitch. That's Mitch balling out right there. That's Mitch.
Maserati Mitch right there.
That's right.
Maserati Mitch.
So I mean,
no more Camry Mitch.
Right. so look. With that being said, who's your player of the game?
I gotta go with Mitch.
Mitch
gets my game ball, man. Like when it counts the most, can you go out and pull the rabbit out the hat? And he did it today, man. That throw he made to Miller was you can't coach it, you can't teach it. That's how I know the kids got talent, man. Like,
but that was frustrating to wait so long for Miller to get involved with the game. That was extremely because I'm sitting there all like, where is this guy?
These receivers that they have are going to catch the ball. Just make sure you can throw it to them.
And Mooney looked good when they got him the ball. Mooney did look good. Allen Robinson looked good, you know. But you got to get the ball to your guys.
Yeah,
you put it in those guys' catch radiuses, man. Even Jimmy Graham commit. You put it in those guys' catch radiuses, man. They're gonna make plays for you. So. If Mitch can just make sure, like I'm just keep coming back to this, if he can make sure his footwork is solid all year, and you know what, I will say this: fourth quarter pass protection was a lot better.
Yes.
Mitch was ducking gunfire first 3 quarters, man. I ain't gonna lie, like he didn't really have a chance to really step up into a majority of those throws. Although when he did have time, Happy Feet showed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's 100% on Mitch, man. At this point, he's got to go out and just be sound with his fundamentals, and you'll see the results, man. I mean, this dude will never be a generational quarterback. We already know that.
But we just need him to be serviceable.
Man, I need him to be top 15, man.
Right, right. Yeah. So next week, we're looking at the Giants. We're looking at the young quarterback, Daniel Jones. But we're also looking at Saquon. Okay, that's going to be the biggest challenge to me because – I watched an older Adrian Peterson run them up and down the field like he's always done. That's just what he does. So I need 2 things from you. I need to know how we're going to be able to stop Saquon, and what is your prediction for next Sunday's game?
I got the Bears really coming out and cleaning a lot of things up. So I'll say 27 to 10.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna kick the Giants' ass.
That's aggressive.
That defense is very proud. They're gonna watch that film. They're gonna correct a lot of that crap you saw today, man.
Yeah.
A lot of the run fits and a lot of that stuff was just rust. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when it mattered.
The passing of defenders from one guy to another, it was really, really rusty.
Yeah. They just looked out of sync. Like, wow, this game counts. Like, they, you know what I mean? They had that.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap!
I think it It really depends on if they can get Quinn back for this next game. You know, that I think that having your, like I said, your new toy to show off in this next game is going to make a big difference.
Absolutely, man. What we did learn today was that Eddie Goldman is worth every penny.
Yes.
They're just trying to patch it up with Jenkins, and Bilal Nichols is a 5 technique, man. They're going to mess this dude up. There's too much free agency help at the nose out there right now. If I'm the Bears, hey, you got 17 mils still just sitting there. Yeah. You go out and get a Marcel Darius. You go out and get a Snacks. Snacks is a free agent right now.
Yeah, I did see that.
Go get one of them big dudes. Put them in the middle of your defense. While they're not as good as Eddie Goldman, they can definitely plug the middle. And that scheme is definitely nose tackle dependent, man. And Eddie Goldman is one of the best in the business. You saw that today. Like a lot of those cutbacks, Eddie Goldman eats 2 of those guys on a routine basis. And I'll pop on any game film and show you Eddie Goldman swallowing the center and beating up guards all game long. And that just wasn't there today. And you saw it. Adrian Peterson was like, ooh, no Eddie Goldman. He cut on back. You know what I'm saying? True. So we missing that dude right now, for real.
All right, Will. That's some fantastic analysis. We appreciate you being on the show. Everyone,
man, looking forward to next week. Stop Saquon, you win the game. I don't trust Danny Jones. He's worse than Mitch.
Exactly. That's exactly what I agree with you.
All right, everyone. Il Brown is our featured Bears contributor. He is the host of the Beat the Block podcast. You can find it on all major platforms. And don't forget to check out NoirCaesar.com.
Indeed.
Thanks a lot, Will.
All right, man. See you guys next week.
We'll see you next week, man.
Bears W. Bear down. We out of here.
Bear down. Welcome back, everybody, to the TCSF Podcast with E-Roc and Big Z. E-Roc.
Yo.
I think it's time.
It's time. Let's fight. It's food time, bro. Let's fight. Let's fight about food like we do every week.
Let's stir this pot, baby.
That's right. So guess what?
What up?
We talked about hot dogs one day. We agreed. A hot dog is a sandwich. All right, I'll give it up.
We're like 1 for 8.
1 for 8. Let's talk about burgers this time.
All right, well, burgers from where, bro?
From the Small White House, also known as White Castle. Oof. All right. Now here's the question. White Castle, hell yeah or hell nah?
Hell yeah.
Stop.
Give me those freshly made little burgers with onions on them. I mean, I take out the pickles. I'm not a pickle guy, but
come on.
Oh man, I'm gonna eat like 15 of them.
Dude, let me tell you something. Hell nah. Look, I got 2 daughters. I got a wife. Even my dog is a girl, okay? If I eat White Castles in my house, none of these females are going to talk to me for about 3 years.
So you do this on purpose?
Well, I didn't say that. But let me tell you something. If you eat White Castle like that, I bet your plumber loves you.
Oh, no. White Castle is a special occasion. Like, it's like quarterly, once every 3 months.
Your plumber loves you and your girlfriend hates you. Because one's going to come, you're going to call them all the time, and one you're never going to call. She's like, why don't you like me anymore? I'd be like, it wasn't me, baby. It was the castle.
Blame it on the castle. Blame it on the castle.
I mean, look, like I said, they're tasty, but I mean, you know, it's going to be doo-doo brown. You better stock up on TP and pretend it's the pandemic, okay?
Doo-doo brown.
All right, everyone. That's the time we got for today. Our Bears segment was brought to you by Noir Caesar. Visit NoirCaesar.com for more information. Huge thanks to our Bears contributor, Il Brown. Don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, which is available on all major platforms. Shout out to Ronesh, our producer, Jay Soto. Shout out to Mike Logic and Ideal from the All Net Podcast. Check them every other Monday, especially now during the NBA playoffs. Check us out on social media. Our brand new Twitter, you can find us at True Chi Fans. That's True CHI Fans. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you guys. Our email is truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. And as always, until next time, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Oh, man, that's That's a full-grown man right there, okay? Hey!